My guest for AM Talk today is Dr. Rashid Pelpo. He is the Minister of the Presidency responsible for private sector and PPPs. We're talking about public-private partnerships. We know that it's something that the world is now onto, not only in Ghana, but the rest of the developing world, but even the developed ones. The United Kingdom, for example, they have a whole law on it and how that is adequately regulated. But we're not only going to talk about the subject of PPPs or other initiatives because we're coming to discuss critical issues that government is dealing with. We know that foremostly, the last 12 hours has seen, well, the way many of us would have to think about how we access health, I believe, the next couple of days, because members of the Ghana Medical Association, they've decided to embark on a strike action, and following that, if nothing is heard of from government, next week they will fully embark on a full strike action. But before then, we've had negotiations being undertaken by the Minister in charge of Employment and Labour Relations, Haruna Idrisu, so that they get the right sort of negotiation, get the right compensation for these medical doctors. But alongside also were some discussions with junior doctors who had early on picketed at the frontage of the offices of the Controller and Accountant General. But the negotiations foremostly are more important. The Ghana Medical Association, they've begun this very strike action. And Rashid, what do you think about it? Sorry for calling you Rashid.
Oh, no problem at all.
Dr. Rashid Pelpo is your name. Yes.
Yeah, good morning to all our viewers, and I hope it's a general concern for everybody. You know, doctors on strike, it's even a danger to the doctors themselves if they withdraw their services, because they are patients when they are sick, and they would want to see a doctor, and they would want a place where they can work, and that's the hospital. So it's serious, and it's of a general concern to all of us. And what I will always say is that they should do so in moderation, you know, because nobody will want to punish doctors. They are the least we should want to punish, because these are very critical members of our society who are committed to serving us, who want to devote their lives in making sure the rest of us are healthy and strong. And so we view it with very serious concern, and we hope that the negotiation going on will come to a point where there will be meeting of minds, and they would conclude and go back to work, which is what we are all looking out for.
It's an interesting point you make, especially when we know that these medical doctors had been threatening to go on strike, and ultimately if nothing is done, and they are saying the next week they'll have to resign en masse, so to speak, for some time now. And for the last couple of months they've been complaining. Even they had to give an ultimatum, adding an extra month, and we're here, we still haven't resolved. Why? Well,
decisions are not just taken like that in government, especially decisions concerning finances has to be taken with those decisions have to be taken with a long-term view as to how you are going to handle it, how it's going to affect the budget, how it's going to affect the total economy. And for doctors, we don't think that this thing should keep going on. I mean, there are not so many in the country. We need to be committed in solving the problem, and we need to also look at how doctors will agree with what they want. You know, they are talking about conditions of service and terms of engagement. These are critical areas, and which need to be spelled out. That we agree with them, but the pace at which we are going, they should bear with us, because government will be happy to be the first to do it. Over the years, governments have not done it. We are committed to making sure we do it, and we are doing so hoping that they will understand that if for 50 years we have tried to do something as a people and we can't do it, they should be patient with us, because we want to use less than a year to solve the problem. And the negotiation is going on, but I know that in the end we should all come to some terms, that the people of Ghana are curious about getting them where they want to get there, where they want to get, and also to make sure we put it in black and white. What happens when doctors are engaged? What are the terms? I think we agree with them 100%. It's just the timing that is the point of disagreement now.
Okay, now let's watch the minister in charge of employment and labor relations after they had negotiated or been in extensive meeting with the medical doctors.
Optimistic that negotiations will progress into the second and probably the concluding stages. We have given in to some of their requests. Some of it we have to do further financial implication analysis. So we trust that as true to the calling of their profession, they will continue to render services and save lives, as we also do our utmost best to meet some of their demands within the constraints of the budget and the challenge of the economy.
Harry Naidersu, the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, and that was after they had been in a long meeting that really went into the night, or not saying into the evening, before getting some response. But after that very meeting, the Ghana Medical Association, they announced that they're going on a strike action, clearly saying that they don't believe in whatever had taken place. Because if you've been extensively in a long meeting and you have one party coming out and saying we still would have to go on a certain recourse, talks issues about trust, credibility and things like that.
I believe that there are various factors that are playing against each other in this whole thing. Part of it is what you just mentioned, trust. Another part is the doctors, for some reasons, insisting on what they believe in. Negotiation means that you give up something and take something, give and take. And if one side insists that all the 100% items we bring into the negotiation to be accepted before we can make a move, there's a problem. And I'm sure that could have been the reason there couldn't be a comprehensive agreement on what has happened. But essentially, I know that we are talking, and that's good. Where there's a conflict and people are meeting and talking about the issues of disagreement, is very close to the solution of the conflict. So I believe that in the end, with a disagreement which is resulting into their issuing a threat of resigning en masse, we don't think that it will get there. I don't think that it will get there. It's just to make sure more pressure is put on government. And I think that it's legitimate for them to pile up all the strike, all the arsenal, and to come to the negotiation table and get their due. But once again, I call on them not to go the direction they are going. It's not going to help us at all.
Is that a threat to them?
A threat to resign en masse, a threat to withdraw all services, including emergency services.
You are threatening them? Are you threatening them?
What does it mean by threatening? I'm saying I will encourage them not to move in that direction.
Okay.
I can't threaten them. I have no means of threatening them.
Is it just more of an appeal?
Even the president cannot threaten them. They can resign. That's what they are saying. That's the ultimate you can do. If a government official says, I want to threaten you, then it means that he might do something that will withdraw you from services. The people are saying they will do it even if. So it's just to appeal to them that they don't go that direction, because it's going to hurt everybody in the country. And besides, it's going to destroy the goodwill they are building in the negotiation. It's fragile, but it's good to keep it up and until it reaches a point where we can all say that there's an agreement.
You mentioned pressure. It seems that it's something that is very synonymous with the way government seems to be handling issues of labor, and especially with bodies that tend to provide essential services as categorized by the labor law. Why?
Please, the question again.
Okay. Government tends to wait until the last minute before, or even the other party goes on a threat of either a strike or whatever action they have to embark upon, before government tends to take the step.
Yeah, I explained from the word go that government doesn't take decisions the way the public will want it to take.
So would I say government is slow in taking decisions?
No, decisions like that all have implications on various variables. and chief amongst them is the economy. And so in order to take such a decision, you will have to look beyond the present, and you have to look at the total impact on the economy. And then you also have to look at the other persons looking at you from the outside who also want the same kinds of conditions. So it will require you to do a comprehensive view of the whole issue, so that when you are taking a decision, you don't take it, then tomorrow teachers will also say, oh, you've done this to doctors, we too are coming. Then engineers also say, oh, we've done this to doctors, we too are coming. Nurses will also say this, teachers, university, so you have to look at it from the point of view where you can say that we are taking the decision, it's peculiar to doctors, and once that decision is taken, this is the impact on the economy. It's not going to have throw us all out of balance, because if it does, the results would not have been worth what it is. Yeah.
Okay. As government tends to play hardball with this, because from what you're saying, you have to look at a position or a stance where you take a decision, then you don't also open the floodgates. Is that not what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. As you tend to play the hardball, don't you get worried about public opinion, about how perhaps people will feel about how government tends to handle some of these things? Because I'm asking this.
Well, I don't know why you call it a hardball, but the truth is that government has to be rational in taking decisions, and that means that you have to look at the pros and cons, and you have to also take into consideration the impacts on the public purse, and therefore the public itself. So it's in the best interest of the public that we negotiate with everybody, or else this small group of 700,000 or less than 700,000 public service workers are going to take everybody to ransom, including me. We are all part of it. And we have a population of more than 25 million Ghanaians, with only less than 1 million people employed in the public service, taking about 50% of total income. Now, if we all insist that we want more and we get more, it's against the very best interest of the public. So we are gatekeepers, and we try to do things that will serve the interest of the public. So we would want to make sure that we don't open the floodgate for everybody to say we want more, and if you get more in the end, we have nothing to build the roads, to build the schools, to build the other infrastructure which are critical to human life, and therefore, the economy will go bankrupt.
The last couple of years, we've seen a lot of strike action, and albeit in that very category, 600,000 public sector workers, and even those is in essential service provision, that is even more pressurizing on government. Do you think, from the stance of where you are and where the medical doctors are, they're taking advantage of their numbers based on their ratio and how perhaps generally we need their services?
Well, every worker who is negotiating will have to emphasize on their strength. So you can see their strength to be the reason to barge, to cave into them and to satisfy them. And for doctors, they are, as I said, very critical integral part of our workforce, and so we'll definitely have to listen to them because of who they are, and the fact that we spend so much money in training them too means that they are very important to society. So if they emphasize on their strength as against the rest of the others, it's legitimate.
Okay. This is what we did this morning. We tried to deploy the best reporters we have across the country, and those regional reporters are making sure that we get to have a feel as to what is happening in the various hospitals across the country. We have Ivy Sotoji, a Volta regional correspondent, on the line. Now, you have been to the Sugakopo Hospital. Which other hospital have you been to, and what really have you seen?
I've been to Akasi as well. I've also checked on Aflao. What I saw was the patients are still there. I spoke to some of them, but not on record, and they told me they don't even know whether the doctors are on strike or not, but they know they are working, they are attending to them for now. But the day is still very young. And so maybe they might start later in the day. But for now, what I have seen, people are still going about their normal duties, but they wouldn't talk on record. They wouldn't talk to me whether they are on strike or they are not. But for now, what I've seen so far, things are normal for now.
But would you say that if things are normal, it means that, well, without the doctors, the hospitals can operate?
Yeah, without the doctors, well, I don't know about that. The nurses are also there. They are also going about doing their normal duties, as I said earlier, but they wouldn't talk to anyone on this issue. So maybe without the doctors too, maybe the nurses can also do their best, though. But for now, as I said, the day is still very young. So let's see whether as time goes on during the day, maybe they might go or they might not, But one thing about Volta region is they don't go on strike that easily. They hardly go on strike, even if other regions are doing it. They don't.
Okay.
It depends on the situation. So
I get your point. You mean the medical doctors there, who also belong to the Parent Association, Medical Association, don't adhere to whatever communique that will come from the leadership? Is that what you're saying?
Not really. What I mean is, in most cases, when there is a general strike, not only medical doctors, most of them, Volta region, most of them, they don't adhere to the directives. Okay, but then, as I said, the money is still young, or the day is still young, and maybe they might go. For now, they wouldn't talk to any journalist. But as I see patients at the OPD, they're waiting to be attended to this morning. They are even hearing from me for the first time that the doctors are on strike, and so they are hoping that they get attended to. So we just hope for the best. I don't know. Maybe when the day goes on, they might go on strike.
It's a very interesting point you make about, well, especially public sector workers. When a strike is declared by their parent association, they don't tend to go on strike.
No, most of the times, yeah.
More like just a matter of benevolence. And thank you very much, Ivy Setoji, our Volta regional correspondent, and joining us, giving us the latest feedback as far as we're concerned about the announcement by the Medical Association that all its affiliates and members should, from today, embark on a strike action. But there will be 7 patients for emergencies at all the medical facilities. And Ivy is just telling us from the Volta region, visited the Sugakopa hospital, as well as the hospital in Akachi, and saying all is well. Nothing really has gone wrong. We'll try and get other regional correspondent, but we've just started, but it means that we need to do something quickly to forestall this. Health is critical for many people.
Yeah, we need to. I'm happy that things are going on well, and I want to once again appeal and call on the doctors. Your demands are being heard, they are being considered. It's not in the best interest of the nation and yourselves, your good selves, to do a strike that will eventually say you are resigning en masse. I don't think that it's a decision you should take. It has never happened in this country. You shouldn't be the first to start it. I mean, I'm appealing directly to the leadership of the doctors' action that they should not be the first to do this harm to the nation, to say, because I'm not giving my due, I'm resigning. It's contrary to their work ethics and principles. It's contrary to the expectation, the general expectation of Ghanaians, that when people feel a pain in any part of your body, you don't kill yourself because of that. You don't kill the system that produces you and that upon which you feed. So it's important that despite the challenge they are facing, they keep negotiating with government. Eventually you will get to a point. People have negotiated like that. Organizations have negotiated for long hours and years and have come to conclusions where they get satisfactory results. And so it's kind of a defeatist tendency to say, because I'm not getting my due, I'm going and I'm no longer working as a doctor.
Well, it may sound defeatist to you, but the point is that they feel that perhaps they are being taken for granted.
Yeah, I'm saying that is the reason they are sitting down to negotiate. Let's follow it to the logical conclusion. You have an avenue. If there was no avenue, if there was an autocratic government where there's no avenue to negotiate, this is a democracy, and we have principles, and we have rules, governing negotiations. There are laws in labor-government relations. Let's follow it to the logical conclusion. Don't say, if I go on strike up to this point, I'm resigning en bloc. I mean, it's not good for the nation.
Right. We also have in the studio Dr. Rashid Pelpo. He is the Minister at the Presidency for Private Sector and PPPs. And we'll move on to a subject which also concerns government, because think tank Imani Ghana, we know they have announced that they've been rated variously in categories of being some of the top 5, top 6, top 10 think tanks in Africa, etc. And they seem to have the reputation, they say. And they have come out with a survey, and they have graded government for meeting only 47% of its manifesto promises, and that will be maybe 3 years into the administration, or let's say 2.5 years, 3 years into the administration. We've had a number of reactions too. We'd like to take yours as well. For example, they say on the subject of energy, almost zilch. You promised that you have 5,000 megawatts by this year, right? Is it 5,000?
No, we never said that.
Okay. 2016?
Yeah, we are hoping that in our commitment to solving the challenge, the energy challenge, by the tenure of office,
that's
we
the
are
close
giving,
of the 10.
2016, we hope to add on much more energy than we have met. Our expectation is to raise it from the 2,800 installed capacity to about 5,000 installed capacity. And if nothing goes wrong, it is our avowed expectation and objective, and we will work very hard towards that, to solve the problem, and then to create enough excess energy into the next round of our development efforts.
Do you think Imani haven't conducted a research on an issue which perhaps maybe overflocked to many people because we have genuine challenges, etc., is also just trying to make government look bad?
No, I think they are right in going into it, because everything we say, most of the things we say are speculative. So it's important for somebody to do a scientific work on it. So we come out to say, this is it. Imperfect though it might be, it's a way to analyze issues, practical issues that we see every day, and give it a scientific response. So what they have done is quite okay, except that we have some criticism about it.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that everything is bad about what Imani has done.
Okay. Have you gone through the news reports about what they've come out?
Yeah. I think
You've heard a couple.
Yeah, they've come out with.
What's your own take? I mean, if you want to observe totally, what would you say in a sentence and say, well, it is a description of what the outcome of the work has been on government?
What Imani has done is to make an attempt to put in perspective the challenge we are facing in governance. They have been able to come out with something which is pricking the imagination and the interest of Ghanaians. It has shown that we can always go beyond the speculation, but it is a beginning of what can be done better. And I think that they haven't been very accurate in what they have done. They haven't followed the methodology to the letter. They haven't spread their respondents, their respondents enough. And so, but they have come out with something which is significant as a point of analysis.
Okay. The Deputy Minister for Communications, Felix Kwachiofusu, has been out in debating clear terms sections, even though, again, they commend government for providing some of the best chip compounds as promised by the manifesto. But clearly we're lacking in key areas. And some of those key areas, because they have they're having an issue with the economy, with the energy crisis. They are influencing a lot of the measurements. Would you say that because the energy crisis has become a serious issue, a main challenge that government has been contending with, it has been a drawback to meeting some of the manifesto promises, so to speak?
No, we have a 4-year mandate. The money has come out after 2 years and a few months into our term. And so, okay, 2.5 years into our term. What they have done is not comprehensive. It will be comprehensive after 4 years when you want to look at our manifesto. So I don't see anything as a drawback. We are meeting challenges in reaching our goal, in satisfying the people of Ghana in accordance with our manifesto. We have not gotten there yet, and we've not ended our term. So what they have done cannot be, a comprehensive view about our effort and our successes and failures. It must be a dynamic process, and what they are doing must not be emphatically a representation of who we are. It's simply following what we are doing.
So in other words, what you're saying is you can just be best assessed or measured at the end of the term?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think as political parties, when you're coming out with all these line items in your manifestos, you also need to outline in percentage terms where you would be in each of the years that you'll be in office for a term?
I think that should have been one of the things they should try to find out.
No, not them. You, the political parties. When you're giving the manifesto, would you be bold to say in the first year, I'm providing, let's say, 10 out of the 200 schools?
We do it every year, every single year.
I know you do that.
Yeah.
Can you put that in writing in your manifesto?
It's in writing. No, not in our. The manifesto has.
It's a block promise.
Yeah, a promise for 4 years.
But that is supposed to be fulfilled at the end of the 4th year.
Yes.
Yes. But how do we get to measure which percentage you're supposed to complete at which point in time within the 4-year period?
It's to the people of Ghana to look at, and it's for you to do an oversight on our budgets. At every budget year, we tell you what we want to do, and we've been succeeding in doing them. And so if you want to assess us according to what we do every year when budgets are read, when the financial policy is presented to the public through Parliament, and the specific areas of investments we try to make. And you will get it. That's why I'm saying that they have a lot of room to work on. To
improve. All right. We know that the medical doctors, based on the directive by their parent union body, the Ghana Medical Association, are expected to embark on a strike this morning. So we've been going round the hospitals as many as we can, and the reporters have been giving us great insight into what really is happening. Just in the Volta region, Ivy told us that nothing really untoward has been happening because the health personnel haven't gone on strike at all. We have Julius Abagli at the Ridge Hospital here in Accra, and he's on the line. Julius, what can you say? Would you say they have gone on strike or they've not?
No, the doctors are working currently. Earlier on, we went to the Mamobi General Hospital. Over the medical officers who were on the night shift had started working, and they were seeing 2 patients. Here at the Ridge Hospital, the OPD is filled with patients, and the doctors are seeing to their needs.
So, Julius, at what point would you have to say that with all that the Medical Association has said, this will be a time in the day when we're likely to see the medical doctors not serving patients?
As it stands, the doctors are not able to tell whether the strike will take effect today. But I spoke to one of the officials of the Ridge Hospital who spoke to me off record. He is saying that this is still a developing story, and they don't know what the mother body is saying yet. But as it stands, they are seeing 2 patients, and everything is calm and easy.
Are they moved by the fact that, well, they have a mission to serve a lot more people? They have to look at the core needs of patients who come there as a result of that, perhaps not obeying whatever directive it is from the GMA?
Well, one of the doctors at the Rich Hospital told me that currently she's unable to speak to me because there is a lot of patients she has to attend to, and she has a duty to attend to those patients, and that is what she's taking care of right now.
Which other facility would you be going or moving on to after Rich?
After Rich, we are moving to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, so we'll be bringing you live updates as to what is happening over there.
Well, Julius, thank you very much. And Julius Abagi is our correspondent currently at the Rich Hospital here in Accra, moving fast speed, going to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital to give us the latest update as to whether the medical doctors there are obeying the rules or the directive from their parent body, the Medical Association, to go on strike. So far, zero. And so, well, that's good. But we're talking about Imani Ghana. So if you have think tanks coming out with some of these assessments, how does it help you in perhaps shaping up and getting your loins to do what you have to do based on the promises you made?
Well, it helps in understanding what other people are thinking about government. It helps in putting government on its feet. It also helps in us shaping up policy, because think tanks, if they do their work properly, can have their results feed into policy decisions, because they may be scientific results. And so it's generally not a bad thing for think tanks to do analysis of government and to bring out issues. You know, it helps, it represents the wish of the people to track what is happening, and it also represents government's desire to listen to the people through NGOs, through such think tanks, and through even the opposition or the minority who are.
And we'll talk about the minority very soon, because they assess the state of the economy and also what the half-year budget was as presented by the finance minister. I mean, your candid view, do you think that there's a promise in there you made in your manifesto document that you know that really you can't meet?
Pardon?
Okay.
There's a promise
in your manifesto that you can't meet?
No.
Based on the way such projects have taken off, how slow or fast they're going?
No.
You meet
I
everything?
don't think so. No,
because this will be on record, so sometimes for news media it helps in just playing back some of these things.
This is not an answer I can give to say that, oh, there's a promise that we can meet all, or there's a promise that we can meet some. It's not good for, it's not possible for any politician to say that I have made this manifesto, but I'm saying that I can meet them. Why did you make them? We can only say that at the end of the year.
But so far, Imani is saying that you haven't met some of them.
Yeah, we can meet. We haven't met some of them because we've not ended the term. We have 4-year mandates, Imani, and if after the 4-year mandate you say that, well, you promised that at the end of the 4 years you should have met this, you have not met it, you've not made it, then we can then begin to explain that. But we cannot say we haven't met it.
Senior high schools, you have 123 you've started.
Yes.
2 have been completed, we're told. Imani said 1, but 2, according to Felix Kwachiofusu. You think you can build all 200? Because I think approximately you are left with 77.
Yeah, Imani said that we did 100 and 1 was complete. And that's the point. You would find that, you know, they're not that accurate. You know, but at the time they were doing it, not now, there were 123.
Yeah, that should have been a long time ago when they did that.
So now many more have been finished, many more have been given out on contract. You know, let's wait at the end of the 4 years. If we are unable to reach the point where we say we were to deliver to Ghanaians, then we can explain. And there's a precedent on record who admitted such. You know, there was a commitment to do something by his manifesto. He couldn't meet it. He came out at the end of the term to explain why he couldn't meet it. So Ghanaians can be understandable. And so we will wait. We are doing our best. We hope to do whatever we have promised. If at the end of it we cannot meet it, we will still be able to explain why. But at the moment, we think that we are on course, we are working very hard, we will succeed, and we will ask Ghanaians to mobilize their resources and their efforts behind us and continue to support us. We will reach where we want to go.